I am going to need a volunteer at some point, but after being here for a few days, there's only one person that could possibly do it. That's Dan Walker. I need you to come up here, Dan Walker. It's going to be simple. It's 10 minutes on stage, Dan. 10 minutes just for you, buddy. You see. Here you go, buddy. Just take a chair. Oh, just take a chair over here. Here we go. We'll just need you in a little bit, okay?
Am I sitting?
Oh, yeah, just sit there. I'll let you know when you need it. So, chart, Marfa, Texas. I'm telling you, one day it's going to happen there. All righty. So as the texting generation matures and percolates through our company, there are certain things that they have in common. And one of them is the fact that they probably deal with interfaces more than that face-to-face communication that we might have had when we were growing up. And face-to-face is still the main form of communication. It's the same thing that we have to do. It's the thing that we have to do to make sure that we're getting our message communicated across, dealing people, looking at eye contact, looking at them in the face, talking to them in a respectful way. This is my disc profile, and it's not upside down. I lack things that most of you just take for granted. And the reason I'm showing this to you is because I had to learn from an old boss of mine, Kim Owens, how to properly talk to people. And it was very mechanical, but nonetheless, it was successful. The reason I'm talking today is because so many of the things that I learned are things that we can probably take to the people that are the younger generation here that is not used to talking to a person face-to-face, not used to talking to a face versus an interface. And so that's what I'm going to try to share with you today. So as a young manager, one of the things I had to do was, of course, handle guest complaints. And great resources in our company. We had lots of role-playing, things to do, things not to do. Here's how you handle this. Here's how you don't handle this. And I was awesome at it, except on a routine basis, once every couple of weeks, there would be a guest complaint about me. Now, not about the complaint that the guest had, but about me and how I handled it. And at some point, Kim Owens is frustrated. She's like, Orloff, we can't keep having these. I'm like, Kim, I did everything I was supposed to. And on paper, it was perfect. But ultimately, I was lacking something. So she says, we've got to fix this. Let me watch you for a little while. And so at some point, she starts watching me, and she realizes that I was lacking certain body language things. My body language wasn't communicating the sincerity that I had and the message that I was trying to communicate, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And she gave me a gift, and that's the gift that I'm going to share to you as well as some other things. Okay? The numbers are rounded to make your life easier, but 10% of the message is communicated by the words, 60% by the tone, and 30% by the body language. All right? 90% of everything we communicate has nothing to do with the words that we're talking about. It's how you say it and the way we talk about it. You don't believe me? Watch a Spanish novella. Even if you don't understand the language, at the end of the week, you'll know what's going on, who's doing what, and who's doing who, right? 60% of the tone, 60% of the message is the tone. Here's a simple sentence. I never said he stole the purse. 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 It's the same sentence, but yet they have 6 different meanings. Why? Because tone is how humans communicate. That's how most of our message is communicated. How many have dogs, right? I have a dog. Mine's the do-do-do one in the middle right there. Okay, so when I get home, I can go to my dog, who's the most stupid dog in the world? Yes, you are. You're an idiot. Yes, you are. He'll still be wagging his tail. He doesn't know what I'm saying. He understands the tone of what I had. I could say, I love you. You're my favorite dog. And he would think that he did something wrong. Why? Because dogs know that we have that tone. They understand the tone that we have and what it means, not necessarily the words. To understand a little bit about body language, you have to understand a little bit about the brain. Left side of the brain, the left hemisphere of the brain tends to control logic, numerical, things like that. The right side tends to control artistic and emotions. The left side of the brain controls the right side of the body. The right side of the brain controls the left side of the body, which means that emotions appear on the left side of our body more prominently and first before on the right side. Did you know that 90% of all people in all cultures around the world hold babies on the left side of their body? Left side of their face has more emotions because it's controlled by the right side. Most people hold a baby on the left side. You don't have to, but it surely helps. Now, animals don't have to deal with this either. They don't have to deal with that except for dogs. Dogs, being around humans for years, understand that we have emotions and we have things like that. And so when they look at us, they tend to look to the right, which is the left side of our face. Now, 30% is the body language. So the last third is really the thing that syncs it all together. Person on the left, the two guys on the left are probably having a disagreement or something that they're not agreeing with, or a disagreement among each other, or something that an impasse. On the right, they're probably a little bit more open, probably in agreement. Nothing, no rocket science here, right? One of these dogs did something wrong. One of them is, all right, ready to go, right? Animals have body language. We all know this. In the Olympics, watch somebody that wins. Even if they were a blind person, and they study blind people for body language, somebody that wins a race does this. Why? Because when you're confident, you take up more space, right? Nobody, when they win a game in the Olympics, is going to be doing this. I won, I won, I won. It's going to be taking up a lot of room. At the same token, try to go to the dentist and not cross your legs. You can't do it. Your feet reveal body language first because they're the furthest from the brain, right? These three guys, they are interested in her. Is she interested in them? No. She would be facing somebody if she were, okay? The belly button rule is what I call it. Now, let's say that Dan here is a table, and I go to a table, and I walk by the table. Is there anything, are you having a great time? I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. Are you having a great time today? Is there anything else I can get you? Thank you so much for joining us. The only thing that changed was what? The direction of my feet. How many of our managers, how many of our young managers go to a table and they're walking by and they're talking to the table like this, and then was there a manager visit? No. It doesn't register as a manager visit because the person was never there. They were leaving. How far should you stand from something? So Dan, I need you to approach me and come to me and ask me a question. So if Dan approaches me and asks me a question, come and approach me and ask me a question, right? Right?
How far is here?
Right? How far is Dan standing from me? Anybody want to know? Exactly 1 arm length away. Why? Because that's the beginning of our personal space. Have you ever heard the phrase keeping people at arm's length? That means what? Keeping them out of your personal space. And inches matter here because if I get a little bit closer, it gets really creepy really soon, doesn't it? Have a seat. How many? But now that 18 inches or that arm length, it matters for table visits as well. I can't visit a table. Is everything okay over there? You having a good time? Right? There has to be, I have got to be that 18 inches away from the table. I also can't go, are you having a good time today? Thank you very much. Because you have to have that, maintain that distance, just like we were talking about for a person. The table is the entity. Right? The lonely guy we referenced to the other day. But you need to be with that person, making the eye contact. So here's the secret that changed my life. So we talked about when you're proud, you stand tall, right? I go to a table, I'm proud, here I am. The trouble is that squared off body language doesn't necessarily work too well, right? I'd have that really proud thing, the guests would say they're upset, and I would listen to them, and I would give them the solution, I would fix it, and I would say, I'm sorry, except that message didn't get communicated because of how I was standing. And my boss came on and said, you've got to make yourself smaller. You have to make yourself smaller, and more importantly, this little message, this little action right here will change your life. And so I am so sorry that I forgot that. I am so sorry that I forgot that. Excuse me, but you forgot my drink. I'm sorry, I'll get it for you right now. Excuse me, forgot my drink. I'm sorry, I'll get it for you right now. But that little bit of a difference, that little change in making yourself smaller, saying, I am wrong, and the guest acknowledges that, and they register it and they can visualize it, just like with that woman that was facing forward, you knew she wasn't interested in those people. Eye contact. Eye contact's aggressive. Predators have eyes in the eyes in front of their head, prey on the side of their head. We are predators. And if you don't think eye contact is aggressive, try walking down the street and as you're passing by people, make eye contact with them the whole way. See how long that lasts you. All right? But yet we tell our people when you're spieling your table, make sure you're making eye contact, right? When you're talking to a guest and you're having a guest complaint or you're interacting with them, make sure you make eye contact. It's not normal for the interfacing people to do that. Why? Because that's not what they do on a regular basis. One of the things we'll tell them to do is ask, what color were their eyes? So it's that 1, 2, 3. If you can make eye contact for 3 seconds, it's not intrusive, but you know that they're making that eye contact with them. Now, you can't get all crazy eyes on them like that, right? Where do I stand? Let's look at these two. Are these two guys having a friendly conversation about dinner? No, they are arguing. And how do you know that? They're squared off. They're standing directly opposite each other. How many times when we go to a guest to talk about a guest complaint, are we standing directly in front of the person? It's the point of confrontation versus the point of comfort. How different is it? How many times is that the situation? How many times when we take a food order are we directly in front of the guest? Point of confrontation, not point of comfort. And then add to that squared off shoulder language, that squared off body, and it doesn't work, and it's really good. You're taking an order, you're opposite from them. It's us versus them, as opposed to being next to them. If you're taking a food order, the best place to stand is to their left. Right hemisphere, emotional side, controlled by the left side of the body. Now it's an emotional response when I'm talking to them for taking their food order. If I'm solving a problem with them, I try to stand on their right, because now I'm addressing the more logical side of their brain. I'm hearing the emotion, but I'm addressing the logical side of the brain. You don't believe me? Go into an elevator. Try anybody in an elevator. That's how we stand. We don't stand like this in an elevator. Hell no. We all have our spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and where you go is where you go. And you all face one direction forward. Go ahead and stand backwards in a crowded elevator. See how that works. You want to ride an elevator by yourself? Stand like that. You want to guarantee that you ride an elevator by yourself? Change one thing. There you go. And now you are by yourself. 10% is the words, 60% tone, 30% body language. As a small little tangent, Chart, I want to say thank you to Chart for changing the lives of the people, myself and the people in our company. I've been coming to these things for 10 years, and there's every conference, there's like 2 or 3 nuggets that I get to plant, that get to sprout up and to be something that's successful. They don't always work, but they've all changed my lives. They've changed the lives of the people around us. Our training program wouldn't be what it was for Chart. For all you first-timers, find those 3 things. Find out what's important to your boss. Make sure you can solve their problems. If you get 3 ideas to grow, that's golden. I want to say thank you to my boss, April Scopa, who lets me be me. And thank you to Kim Owens, who changed my life by giving me the gift of that. I leave you with the one last issue. There's my dog. And he's very happy, even though his feet are pointing in the opposite direction. So, to Chart, to Kim Owens, to April Scope, I want to say thank you, but really I would like to say thank you.